Yan! And so good morning everyone. Good morning sa mga nakatutok na, sa mga 9 students na nandito na ngayon sa ating live. Good morning and thank you sa paggising ng maaga for you to attend this lecture. So, hintayin natin yung iba na makapasok. Can you hear me loud and clear, class? You can use the chat box option dito sa ating StreamYard. So, yeah, I'm using the StreamYard platform now. No, kasi I research na ako lang ang gagastos ng data. I mean, medyo mababa ang data consumption no, na magagastos niyo if you will just watch my lecture. Ang disadvantage lang nito ay hindi ko kayo matatawag for the lecture, no, but if in case that you have questions or if you have clarifications, you can use the chat box option dito sa ating StreamYard, okay? So, shout out muna tayo. Good morning kay Jocelyn, kay Diane, and kay Jacqueline for yan. Good morning din kay Rachel. Yan, so maraming salamat sa pagising ng umaga para samahan ako sa pagbibigay ng lecture. This is your Sir Ian, ang magbibigay sa inyo ng latest lecture in our subject here in the Business Project. feeling feeling DJ. So siguro kailangan ko tanggalin muna tong isa kong camera. For backup lang to, so I'm using my phone and laptop para if in case of the technical difficulties. Yan. And so good morning din kay so hindi ko pa nabate, kay Sigfrod, kay Nicole, kay Mary Ann, kay Hajeline, kay Giselle, kay Precious, kay Genevieve, and kay Mary Angelique. Yan, good morning. So siguro kapag nasa kalahati na tayo ng class, I'll start. And good morning din kay Hannalyn, kay Victor. So sana makisama ang ating connection for today na hindi tayo mabagal, hindi tayo naglalag. You can hear me loud and clear naman, class, no? Tama ba? Yan, good morning din kay Eliza, kay Alexandra, and kay Timothy, and kay Michelle. Ayan, so naririnig ako ng maayos. So I guess, yeah, let's start now with our lecture. So good morning, everyone. Um, Once again, if you have questions or if you have clarifications, no, during my discussion, you can use the chat box, no, para magtanong and for you to give your feedback. And if in case that I have some questions, no, you can answer through the chat box natin. Okay? So let's start. Yeah. So siguro naman nakikita nyo naman ng maayos, no, yung ating presentation. Okay, so once again, good morning. Welcome to our first lecture, no, in the introduction to business research. Okay, so welcome to the introduction to business research, and I'll start my introduction now with giving you the reason why there's a need for you to learn and to study the subject. Okay, so business research, to study the business research. And as future financial manager, since lahat ng handle ko ngayon for the business research are all under the BSB AFM, now since or as future managers, no, in the business world or in the business marketplace, no, it would be better that as early as now you are able to practice on incorporating research component, no, along with your academic foundation in financial management. Now, that will enables you to develop your independent critical thinking skills along with the oral and written communication skills. No, and through this subject or through this course, no, it will give you a valuable learning impact, no, and learning objectives that you can use in the near future, and it's preparing you for a professional service as financial managers, no, because at some point in your future career, no, you will probably be required, no, to read and interpret a business research or report. And if you have learned about the research skills and research, no, in general, then you are far more likely to be capable of understanding the study, no, and not to mention interpreting the results and drawing your own conclusions. Okay, so yan. So for today's discussion, no, here are the outline of the topics that we will discuss. Okay, so of course, since this is an introduction, what is business research? The types of business research, the methods of business research, and the common research areas. Okay, so I know there's no need for me to elaborate more. Lipat muna natin. Yan. Okay. So I know there's no need for me to elaborate more the definition and no, the things that you need to know about the research in general, because those topics had been discussed now already in your senior high school years in the practical research 1 and 2. No, but as a review or a refresher for everyone, no, research is probably one of those words, no, or term that you are likely to come across, no, on almost a daily basis. Okay, so especially, no, kunwari ikaw, if you are reading a newspaper, now let's say you have read the latest economic and financial status of the Philippines brought by the pandemic, now based on the conducted research study, or perhaps the latest news headlines of the possible vaccine for COVID-19, now in reference to um, a piece of medical research na about its effectiveness from those countries, no, who are now COVID-free, no, or something like that. And illustrations of various types of research, no, are regularly posted in the different media outlets, no, or in the different social media apps, no, about this kind of research findings. No, and we are likely conducting research on your own, no, on a daily basis to address questions that are important for us. Now, let's say, for example, Kunwari, you need a headset for your online class, no? And it is unlikely, no, that you would buy a headset from the first list, no? Kunwari, nag-search ka sa Shopee, no? Nag-search ka because you wanted to buy a headset, no? It is unlikely for you, no, na kung ano ang unang lumabas sa search results, no, ika-cash out mo kaagad. No, instead, you would probably do some researches, no, to find out if there is a cheaper alternative, no, or there is an item na kung saan maganda ang reviews, no, comparing dun sa iba, no. That is also research in a simple manner. Now, quite simply, research is the key to decision making, no, na kung saan without sufficient information, um, the decision making, no, is likely to be more difficult. Okay, now and the question here is what is yan. Okay, so the question that we have here, no, is what exactly is research? Okay, and what distinguishes business research from other types of researches? Now this lecture aims to answer those questions and sets out to provide, no, and give you a clear introduction to business research. Then I will start by clearly defining, no, and explaining that Tagalin muna natin. Ayan. So I will start by clearly defining, no, and explaining research, and later on we'll discuss more on business research, no. But let's start by having a review of what is actually meant by the term, no, research. Ayan. And we can say that research, no, is important in both business and academic. No, but there is no consensus on the in the literature, no, on how the term research should be defined. So, sir, bakit you can say that there is no consensus, no, in the literature on how it could be defined? No, ang main reason is because lahat tayo, since we already have background or knowledge about the research in general, no, all of us, which is different individuals, we can give the definition or interpretation of the word research, no, differently. No, however, from the many definitions, no, there appears to be conformity that, okay, so ito yung nakikita natin sa slide natin. What is research? The first one is research is a process of inquiry and investigation. Research is systematic and methodical. The last one is research increases knowledge. Okay, so let's explain these definitions one by one. Now, first is, it is said that research is a process, and research is a process of inquiry and investigation. Okay, so this definition is suggesting that research is all about having a predetermined set of questions. Now, kapag sinabi nating predetermined, no, the questions or the set of questions are being established or decided in advance. No, and then, since you have the predetermined questions, now you are aiming to answer these questions through gathering of information and later on, no, analyze these answers. Okay? For the second definition, no, it is said that research is systematic and methodical. No? This definition only implies that your research must be well organized and go through a series of stages. Okay? And finally, now for the last definition of research, it is said that research increases knowledge. Now, in this definition is relatively self-explanatory, no, or your own knowledge about your chosen subject or topic will certainly improve as a result of your research, including the audience or reader of your research. Okay? Yan. Research can be defined as a step-by-step process that involves the collecting, recording, analyzing, and interpreting the information. No, generally speaking, research is all about generating answers to questions. Okay, now, when we say business research, no, it is defined as the systematic and objective process of collecting, recording, analyzing, and interpreting data for aid in solving managerial problems. Okay? So what do we mean now when we say systematic? Okay? Kapag sinabi nating systematic, um, kapag sinabi nating systematic, we are doing it according no, to a fixed plan or a fixed system, no, or the word systematic is synonymous with the terms methodical, no, or in the simplest terms, we are doing this kind of process, no, or this kind of work in a step by step manner. No, hindi pwede na meron kang skip na process, no, kasi if you do that, there will be something wrong with the result, no, or the result of your research will not be accurate. No, and if you do that, hindi ka na lang sana nag-research, no, nag-ano ka na lang sana, nag-guessing game ka na lang. Okay? So sabi diyan, business research is to aid solving managerial problems. Ayan. So these managerial problems can be linked to any business functions, no, like the finance, like the human resource, no, like the marketing, or the research and development. No, so parang generally speaking, any research project can also be interpreted as business research, no, in the sense that it will be related to business and management. Okay, so the purpose of this business research is to gather information in order to aid business related problems, not to come up with business related decision making as well. Now, in other words, um, kapag sinabi nating business research, no, we are generating answers or we are finding solutions, no, with the help of this research. No, kung paano natin maa-apply itong let's say itong mga solutions, no, or mga answer na ito in the different areas, no, as long as it is related to business. Okay? So let's say for example, you are planning to run your own business. No, there are several things that you need to research on, no, kasi 'di ba hindi naman pwede na dahil naisipan mo lang magtayo ng negosyo or naisipan mo lang na mag-startup ng business, no, you will do it right away. Now of course, you need to do some researches na kung anong klase, kung papaano, no, kung saan, kung kailan, and so on and so forth. Now you need to research everything, no, from the market to sales. Okay, um, because this business research will help you, make intelligent and informed decisions, and identify the steps that you need to make, no, in order to give answers or solutions to a certain problem. No, kasi what if let's say you are a financial manager, no, let's say in this certain company, um, let's say you have to make a decision regarding this kind of financial matter, no? What if hindi mo pinag-aralang mabuti? No, what if meron kang mga aspects na hindi kinonsider, okay, or hindi tiningnan? No, let's say basta ka na lang nag-decide to do this or to do that without doing some researches first. No, at the end of the day, walang ibang sisisihin kundi ikaw, no, as the financial manager. But if we conducted research, or but if we conducted business research, now if in case that the decision that you made fails, no, or nag-fail yung decision mo na ginawa mo, no, at least you have backup, no, and the reason why you do this or you do that, it is because according to this research, so on and so forth. Okay? Ayan. Nag-lag ata ako. So, ayan. Okay. So, mukhang okay naman, no? Hindi naman ako naglalag on your end. Naririnig naman ako ng maayos. Naririnig ba ako ng maayos? Medyo delay rin ata ang ang response using the chat. So I think I will proceed with the discussion kapag may nakita akong comment na hindi naman ako naglalag or maayos naman ang aking connection or hindi ako nagpuputol-putol. Ayan, very good. So thank you po. Delay nga lang talaga ang ang dating ng ng chat. So yun. So moving forward, no, as you can see on our slide, no. So in this slide, no, I'm showing you the examples of business research, no, with the specific aspect, no, in its issues. Okay, so we have the business aspects sa left side and the research issues, no, on the right side. So on the consumer behavior, we have the buying habits, the brand preferences. For human resources, employee attitudes, staff retention, material incentives, promotion, media research, public relations, so on and so forth. Product finance, forecasting, budgeting, efficiency of accounting software. Okay. So now let's proceed with answering the question, why research is important in business. Okay. So right now, no, na-establish na natin sa isip natin that research is all about providing answers to questions, no, and developing knowledge. And itong question na ito, it is very significant, no, why there's a need to conduct a research. No, kasi as I explained earlier, no, sa pamamagitan ng research, it becomes the key to decision making. And without sufficient information that you can gather from doing research, the decision making is likely to be more difficult. Okay, so what is the importance now of research in business? Okay, in business, importante ang research to identify the different opportunities and threats. And kadalasan, the company's success or failure is nakadepende on the actions no undertaken as a result of conducting a research. Now, although carrying out a business research does not guarantee success, no, it is more likely to increase the possibility, no, that let's say that a new product or service or brand identity or an event, no, is successful, na kung saan sa ibang pagkakataon, no, the level of research conducted can be questionable, no, especially if the public option or the public opinion rather, no, so the level of research conducted can be questionable sometimes, no, especially if the public opinion is markedly different, no, to that of an organization's viewpoint. Okay, so let's take the issue of the white sand, no, in Manila Bay as an example. It is said that as part of the Department of anong agency yun? DENR, no, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or the DENR's beautification project, no, of course, from the side of the government or the agency. Now, before they come up with this plan, no, they made some researches on how they can rehabilitate or how they can clean up or preserve, no, or restore and maintain the waters of Manila Bay. No, but when it comes to public opinion, no, especially nung last time, no, na binuksan for public viewing, no, nakita naman natin kung gaano kadami ang ignorante or excited, no, or should I say excited, or gustong makakita, no, ng white sand because of how many months na nasa bahay lang, no, despite of the pandemic. When it comes to public opinion, we can say that possible there is lack of necessary environmental researches nor impact studies conducted by the DENR. No, lalo na nakikita natin ang photos or pictures sa social media na unti-unti nang inaanod ang white sand, no, and the response of the DENR Secretary Jonas Leones, no? That natural, sabi niya, natural situation talaga namang paalis-alis ang ang white sand, pero bumabalik-balik din, no? Eh di wow, no, eh di sana all bumabalik, no? And it can be questioned, no, as to whether the DENR, no, carried out sufficient research, no, prior to choosing that kind of decisions. And this example illustrates that business research may only provide a snapshot, no, of people's opinion. Okay, and the reason why I am saying this situation, no, as an example, to give emphasis na sa ibang pagkakataon, the level of research conducted, no, can be questionable, especially if the public opinion is markedly different, no, to that of an organization's viewpoint, no. Once again, to conclude business research, no, it is to provide the needed information, no, that guides managers to make informed decisions, to successfully deal with problems. Okay, so the information provided could be the result of a careful analysis, no, of the data gathered firsthand, or of the data that are already available in the company. Okay. Okay. Now let's proceed with the discussion of the types of business research. Okay. So as you can see on the slide, we have the basic and we have the applied research. Okay, so what is applied research? What is basic research, and what is the difference of the two? Okay, so let's start with the basic research. No? Basic research is known as fundamental pure research since it is mainly concerned with the improvement of scientific knowledge. The purpose of basic research is simply to gather more information to further understand existing phenomena, especially in the field of natural resources, while applied research is to know more about to know more about a certain real-world problems and take steps to solve it. Now, it focuses on the application of natural science principles on practical difficulties as well as enhancing innovations. No, and for us to easily understand the difference, for us to easily understand the difference of the applied and the basic research. Now, our question here is, now what will this research be used for? Okay? So pag sinabi nating applied research, no, applied research is a type of research that is used to answer um, so, di ko sure kung naglalag ako kasi nag-block ang aking screen. Okay. So, yan. Bumalik na. Okay. So, applied research, no, ito yung type of research that is used to answer a specific question, no, that has a direct application. And this is the type of research that solves a problem. No, or in the simplest term, applied research is something that we can use. Now, while the basic research, so parang the reason why you conducting that type of research is not sa basic to, no, wala lang, para malaman mo lang, no, or should I say you are driven purely by curiosity, no, and desire to expand your knowledge. This basic research tends not to be directly applicable to the real world in a direct way. Now, but it enhances our understanding of the world around us. Now, so basically, the real difference between the two types of research is what they will be used for. Okay, so will the research be used to help us understand a real world problem and solve it? That's applied research. Now, you are aiming to solve a particular problems, or will the research further our general information? No, so that's basic research, which is meant to expand one's current knowledge. And if you're going to read, no, our instructional material in our subject, you can read there, no, an elaborate explanations together with examples to better differentiate the two types of this business research, no, this uh, basic and applied. Pero pag sinabi kasi nating applied, no, we are doing the research for us to solve an actual problem that is existing, which is gagawa tayo ng applied research para kung ano yung recommendations, ano yung suggestions gagawin talaga natin. Now, while the basic research, no, kaya mo lang siya ginawa is because you wanted to add information or gusto mo lang malaman, no. Kapag nalaman mo na, that's it. No, sa applied research, pag nalaman mo yung mga solutions, you will do it. No, yun yung pinagkaiba nung dalawa, okay, of the basic and applied research. Let's proceed with the two main types of methods to carry out business research. Okay? So researchers rather use various research methods to collect relevant data now so that business enterprises can make wiser decisions. Now, and meron ngang dalawang types of methods na which are the qualitative and quantitative research. Okay? So once again, no, I think there's no need for me to elaborate more the definition of qualitative and quantitative because you are already familiar with these terms and you already encountered them, no, on your practical research 1 and 2. But as a review and as a refresher, now we will discuss it in the context of business research. Okay? So let's start with wala pala. Hindi pala siya nailagay. Hindi ko nagawa. Kanina umaga ko lang ginawa tong slide na to. Okay. Let's start with the quantitative business research. Okay. So, using this method, it uses mathematical techniques and data to explain the important stats, no, about your business research topic. And usually, this data uses multiple choice questionnaires, no, that can help you, and quantitative research can answer questions, no, such as how many, how long, no, and the result of quantitative business research is in the numerical form, no, let's say such as 40% of this, yada yada, so on and so forth, or 70% of this, no, so on and so forth, or 6 out of 10, no, and so on and so forth, no. So these quantitative research methods include various survey such as telephone, online, and face-to-face. Now, while yung qualitative business research naman, this business research focuses on attitudes, on intentions, and beliefs, no? And this method of research normally includes questions, no, such as why or how, and you can collect qualitative data using common methods, no, such as case studies, focus groups, and interviews. Okay, so this data is often valuable but can be time consuming and expensive to collect, especially for a small business or startup. No, so itong qualitative business research daw ay medyo matrabahong gawin. It's very time consuming, no, na nagawin, especially kapag sa business. Okay? And to compare these two methods, no, let's put it in a way that can be easier, no, for us to understand. Quantitative business research, no, it examines the data that are numerical, while the qualitative research examines data, no, that are narrative. No, and just an advice, no, and this is also an advice that I received, no, from my research advisor in my master's degree, no, that qualitative and quantitative methods do not necessarily have to be used exclusively. No? So kung gagawa daw tayo ng research, hindi dapat tayo nababox na dapat this research is qualitative lang. No, this research is quantitative lang. No, kung yung purpose talaga natin is for us to find a specific answer, no, to a certain question or to a certain problem, no, Sabi nga ni itong nasa slide natin, sabi ni Strauss and Corvin, one might use qualitative data to illustrate or clarify quantitatively, no, derived findings, or we could quantify demographic findings or use some form of quantitative data to partially validate one's qualitative analysis, no. So most research projects or researchers rather, no, however, they are placing emphasis, no, on one form or another, no, and you also need to keep in mind na yung research strategy mo is likely to be your matter of choice. Okay, once again, your research strategy is more likely to be your matter of choice kasi nga ikaw yung researcher. No, and your strategy does not need to follow na dapat qualitative lang yan or dapat quantitative lang yan, or your strategy does not need to follow a qualitative or quantitative divide, quality or quanti divide, no. And right now, most of the researchers, no, are recognizing that using the mix methods na tinatawag, no, or the combination of their data collection, no, can add value to your research. Okay, so being knowledgeable or having knowledge about business research, no, the types of business research and the methods used in business research, no, it will help professional managers, or in your case, as future financial managers to, first is to identify and effectively solve minor problems in the work setting. Second, know how to discriminate good from bad research. Third, appreciate and be constantly aware of the multiple influences and multiple effects of factors pinging on a situation. Take calculated risks in decision making, knowing full well the probabilities associated with different possible outcomes. Prevent possible vested interests from exercising their influence in a situation. Relate to hired researchers and consultants more effectively, and combine experience with scientific knowledge while making decisions. Okay, so these are all self-explanatory, no, and these are some, no, of the importance that business research can give you, no, and there are a lot. There are a lot to add in this list. Okay, so being knowledgeable daw, as long as if you have knowledge or if you have background, no, with this research as future financial managers, no, it will help you with this, itong nasa list natin. Okay? Now, let's proceed on discussing you the factors that we need to consider. Wala na pala akong slide. Okay. Now, let's proceed now on discussing with you the factors that we need to consider in choosing your topic. Nagbablock na naman ako. So, mukhang hindi ko sure kung naglag ako. Okay. Dalawa kasi yung ginagamit ko right now. So, I'm using my laptop and using my cell phone, no, to back up if in case. Tinitingnan ko kasi yung sarili ko sa tinitingnan ko yung sarili ko sa screen ng laptop to monitor kung naglalag ba ako or what, no, or to control the StreamYard. Pero ayan, so bumalik na ako sa dati. Tinitingnan ko kasi yung mukha ko sa screen ng laptop. Kapag nag-black, it's an indication for me na naglalag. Pag hindi, maayos. Okay? So since okay na, let's proceed on discussing you the factors, no, that we need to consider in choosing a topic. Okay? In research, the selection of the research topic is one of the most important considerations, no, of every research, no, kasi 'di ba, with this research topic, no, ito yung magfo-form ng basis of all the efforts na gagawin ng researcher sa kaniyang research, no. Sa iba, madali lang for them to choose a research topic, no, as they find some idea, no, in their surrounding, or of course through yung tinatawag natin na brainstorming, no? Especially if you are in group. Okay? But in general, no, it's not easy to choose a research topic, especially when you do not know what are the qualities of a good research paper topic. Okay? So I will just share with you, no, the basic factors that you need to consider when choosing a research topic. Okay? So the first one is interest. Okay, interest. Bakit the first thing that we need to consider in our or bakit interest is the first thing that we need to consider, no, in our research. No, kasi once you have an interest with the topic that you are working on, or let's say the greater your interest in the research area, no, the more committed and dedicated you will be in doing that research. No, kasi 'di ba, pag sinabi nating research, minsan nakakatamad, no, minsan nakakapagod. But as long as you have the interest in the topic that you are working it, no, you will have this commitment, or you will have this passion to and dedication, no, that you will be doing that research, no, with all your heart, or from the bottom of your heart. Um, kasi doing a research, no, kung sa iba, doing a research can be a burden or nakakatamad or nakakaboring. Doing a research can be kasi ano doing a research can be a long journey na kailangan meron kang perseverance and determination. No, therefore, para maiwasan na maboard ka, no, or to avoid boredom and frustration along the way while you are doing your research, now select a research area that you are passionate about. Now, let's say for example, no, ako right now, I'm interested with stock market. If I will look for a topic, no, I'll make sure that it is something related, no, about stock market, no, or it is something that I have interest with, no. So the next factor that you should consider after the interest is the career path. Okay, for me, this career path is also one of the most important factors that we need to consider in choosing a research topic. Now, because a research topic which is closely linked to your career, or to your future career, or your career vision, it will add value to your world of work. Now, ako for example, no, uh, sorry, wala ako ng boses. Yan. Ang aga ko namang mawala ng boses. Okay. Ako for example, no, since sa level namin, we can say na may pera sa research. Actually, may pera sa research. Okay? Malaki ang pera sa research, no, especially kapag faculty ka, no, let's take in PUP, no, for example, 50 pwedeng 50 to 100k, no? And if I will create a research, no, I will make sure na that the research that I will be working on, no, will be aligned with my specialization. No, I will align it with business and management, no, and education. No, since I have a degree, no, in business education, so dalawa yung aking pwedeng puntahang specialization in business and specialization in education. No, kasi one of the main purpose of doing research, no, is to provide contribution, no, to knowledge and practice. No, therefore, it will be beneficial to you, no, if your research is aligned with your career vision and your career plan. No, which is in your case, no, sa case ninyo, since lahat ng students ko under the business research is financial management students, no, sa case ninyo, it will be better if you will align your topic in the area of financial management. Okay? So, siguro nakita na ninyo yung ating instructional materials, na medyo baka naguguluhan kayo na parang it's more on HRM practices eh. Kasi nung ginawa yung instructional materials na yon, so parang let's say finocus namin that it's for HRM students as well as with financial management students. So medyo nagkaroon lang ata ng confusion at the end part or the last part of the material. But yun nga, since you are all financial management students, no, it's better na yung research na gagawin nyo will be aligned with financial management, no, kasi Who knows, baka yung research na nagagawin mo ngayon in our subject in the near future, you can still use it, or you will just modify it, to be a useful research, or if ever you are already practicing your degree in the workplace. Okay, so the next factor now that you can consider, so after the interest or after the career path, is the time. Okay, why we need to consider time? Bakit kailangan nating i-consider yung oras? Okay, because time will usually affect um, how deep you can explore a particular subject area, no? Kasi nakadepende on the subject area, and depending on the subject area, you may not be able to explore the topic. Ha, nag-blank na naman ako. So, mhm, wait lang. Naririnig niyo pa ba ako, class? Naririnig niyo pa ako? Mhm. Okay, so mukhang naririnig niyo pa naman ako. Ayan. Ayan. Okay, so why we need to consider time? Loading ang screen ko, so not sure. Class, pwede ba kayong mag-type na naririnig nyo pa rin ako ng maayos? Hindi ako nag-lag. Okay. So, ayan, narinig ko maayos. Ayun, so going back, no? So, the next factor that we need to consider, no, after the considering your interest and considering your career path, no? Let's consider the time. Now, why we need to consider time? No, because time will usually affect, no, yung sinasabi ko nga na it will affect kung gaano kalalim, no, yung pag-explore natin on a particular subject area, na kasi nakadepende sa subject area, or depending on the subject area, you may not be able, no, to explore the topic, no, that you need to explore. Now, let's say for example, this business research, no, that you are going to create, the time frame that you need to work on it is good for 2 to 4 months. No? Kasi kailangan natin, kung di ako nagkakamali, ang end ng SEM natin ay February. No? Let's say for example, October, or sige, wag na October, November, December, January, February. No? So let's say, dito sa subject natin in business research, no, the business research na gagawin natin, meron siyang time frame na good for 2 to 4 months, no? What if the topic that you wanted to work on, no, is too broad, no? Masyado siyang malawak. No? It will take you a lot of time to work on it. So that's why it's also better that in choosing a research topic, it is a topic that is already narrowed down, or naka-narrow down na siya, no? You have to ensure that you have narrowed down your research topic to something that you can easily work on, no, on a given time frame. No, so kung mag-iisip or kung pipili kayo ng research topic, no, make sure that it is something that you can easily work on a given time frame, no? Huwag kayong pipili ng topic na dahil sobrang lawak ng kailangan mong i-present, no, baka kulangin ang isang buong semester. Okay? So ito lang naman yung mga tips, no, that I can give you, no, that you might want to consider in selecting a topic for business research. Now, once again, if you just want to follow them, okay? Now, when it comes to the topic, no, that you can select as a requirement for the subject, no, sa subject natin, uh, here are the only instructions that I want to give to everyone, no, since lahat ng handle ko nga for the subject business research or BSPA FM students. Now the first thing is the research topic should be aligned with your field of specialization, no, since all of you who are required not to watch this lecture are financial management students. Your topic should be gearing towards, no, effectiveness of financial of business practices in financial management of an organization. Okay, since malawak ang financial management and you are now going to apply what you had learned now from your major subjects, or should I say dahil nasa third year na kayo, no, marami na kayong alam, no, about the different areas or functions, no, in the world of financial management. It would be easier, no, for you to come up with a topic that you can use in your business research. Okay? So the second thing is the topic that should be selected for an investigation or for a research should be specific, not broad, no, and should be relevant. Okay? So the third, the research title, no, should stand as the main problem, no, and the main objective of the study, no, and it should be supported with the sub problems, no, and you have to take note that when that sub problems now were answered, the answers to the main problems will be gained too. Okay, so on our next meeting, or let's say next week, no, each group should prepare to give at least uh, 3 research topic worth investigating in the field of financial management. Okay, so that's my discussion, or that's my introduction on in business research. Now, if you have questions or if you have clarifications, siguro I will let's transfer sa ating um, messenger group, no, if you have questions or if you have clarifications, dun natin pag-usapan, no, sa ating group chat, na wag na nating i-live stream na kasi it will be something na between us na lang muna. Okay? So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to our lecture for today on the so yun lang. And if in case that you are an asynchronous learner na hindi ka nakapanood ng lecture ko for today, you can watch this lecture. We'll upload it dito sa aking YouTube channel. So, yun lang. And for me to identify pala, guys, or class, for me to identify na that you watched my lecture, no? I'm requiring everyone or my students in business research, no, after you're done watching this lecture, please comment down your last name and your section. Your last name and your section, and your takeaway dito sa lecture natin. Okay? So yun lang po. Maraming salamat. Let's proceed na sa ating messenger group. Let's end this.